work together. And, people say, I don't bring my work home. You do, whether you realize it or not. What happens to you at work and the emotions that go along with it, you bring it home. So today we'll discover how to harness your emotions, turning potential conflicts into moments of sophisticated empowerment. Okay. And the first step to doing that is by identifying root causes. You don't know how to solve something if you don't know why it begins. So, understanding where your tensions come from is crucial. Are they stemming from unvoiced or unmet expectations? And a lot of times, that can cause stress and tension in your life when you're expecting something that isn't going to happen for you, but it's not going to happen for you because you're not entitled to it, or it wasn't the right time, or you just had this expectation that isn't easily met. And maybe there's communication or other things around there that it has to be addressed, but nonetheless, you're not getting the result that you want and it causes tension. Okay. And or it could be that you have fears and you haven't yet recognized what those fears are. So, what I'll tell you is the only way for you to manage your emotions is to find out what they are. Maybe you haven't identified what the emotions are at all. Maybe you think the emotion that you're feeling is anxiety, and what you're really feeling is frustration. Okay. And maybe you think what you're feeling is fear, but it could be excitement because there is something new on the horizon. We all have the ability to have something new happen for us. And we can do that by managing our emotions and creating an environment that's conducive for the good things that we're looking for in our future. So, one way to do this, to kind of just pinpoint what's causing you all of this tension and stress, is to reflect and journal about it. And journaling doesn't have to be this big, long thing with this thick book like I thought it used to be. It could just be writing something down in a simple notebook. So don't go buy all these fancy journals. Go get you a notebook and write in it. Okay. And so, what you want to take note of are the moments that you have tension during the week. So if you come home and you just feeling all of this weight on your shoulders, where did it come from? You haven't seen your husband yet, and the kids are just getting home from school. Where is this stress coming from? You should identify it and write it down, and then figure out, what really triggered them. Was it an assumption? Was it an unmet expectation? Is it that someone wasn't listening to you, or was someone really putting pressure on you in a way that is abusive at work? And that happens. It's happened to me. The way that you change this triggered response, once you have identified that emotion, is by becoming an emotional planner. This is the first step towards change that needs to take place so that you can begin to master your emotions at work. Because if you're coming home and you haven't even met with your family yet, this tension has to go. We have to figure out a way to leave it at the door. You know, Tension at work can be self-imposed, but maybe it's just the machine. So I write in my book, Brains and Baubles Do What Works for You, that there comes a time when you have to make a decision about your work environment based on how it's making you feel, how it's causing you to have adverse emotions that don't benefit your future. Learn when it's time to transition. You can only do that by looking at what's triggering these emotions and this tension. When you master your emotions personally or at home, the results are greater and more fulfilling. If you find that you're yelling at the kids, or you're snappy with your husband, or you're withholding sex, or you don't feel like cooking or cleaning, I get that. And that comes from stress, because when you're feeling good, when things are working out and there's peace in your life, you find beauty in doing some activities at home. You welcome your children running in the door. You find yourself being more confident and sexy, and you want to have relations with your husband. I know I do. If everything is good, then everything is good, right? So, managing your emotions at home not only just benefits your children and your marriage, it also benefits the environment that you're in. You might find yourself decorating or hiring somebody to decorate. You might find yourself finding more opportunities for self care and even setting up a place in your home for self care. Look, it all works. Maya Angelou once said, I've learned that people forget what you said. Will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. That goes for everybody that you come in contact with, personally and at work. And this underscores the power of your emotional responses and their lasting impact on the people in your environment. And it also shapes your environment. So we got to manage our emotions, but first we do that by pinpointing them.